Welcome to UpYourStack podcast. I'm your host, Noah Burke. I'm also the co-founder of OBO, an elite HubSpot solutions partner. Every week, we feature some of our favorite HubSpot app partners who've either built their apps on HubSpot or have integrated with HubSpot to help you get the most out of your HubSpot tech stack. And today, I have an awesome guest, Massimo, who's here to talk about how his application, in fact, I don't want to just give it away. So Massimo, I'm going to let you explain what it is that you guys do because it's pretty darn cool.
First of all, thanks for having me. Great to be here. We love the HubSpot ecosystem. And as I was telling you before the podcast, we have quarterly areas of focus at our company, Beefree, and HubSpot is a big area of focus for us right now. So great timing. So Beefree that you can find at beefree.io is a design tool. And we started about 10 years ago with the idea of making it easier to design emails. That simple. And still 10 years later, we're still doing that because email is a huge space. You can also use Beefree as a landing page builder. And so great companion to HubSpot because emails and landing pages are content assets that you use in HubSpot all the time.
I would say so. And it's common. Everyone wants to create an awesome email. Everyone wants to create a great landing page. And it's not always as easy as you think it is. And obviously tools like Beefree really help it make it easy for, you could even say, non-designer to design an awesome looking email. So how did this come about 10 years ago? Like, why do this in the first place? And by the way, I love the fact you're focused on email and you're still focused on email, but tell me more.
So about 10 years ago, I was working for an Italian version of MailChimp, basically. I grew up in Italy, as you can tell from my name and probably a piece of my accent. But so it's called MailUp. It's still active today. So an email service provider, and I was the head of product there. And as many companies back then, we were looking at switching from what looked like a Word editor to build an email to a drag and drop tool that would make it a lot easier. And so we started building that internally for MailUp. And then we had this growth marketing idea of saying, what if we take this builder and throw it up on the web as an independent tool? And people will start using it, and then we'll lead them into MailUp as a next step. And people loved it, except for the growth marketing piece of it was a complete failure. Nobody actually signed up for MailUp. And that led to the discovery that people just needed an easy email design tool, not for MailUp, but for whatever other application they were using, right? They were saying, great that you gave me this design tool. I'm going to grab the HTML and use it in whatever application. So it did not work as an acquisition tool for that email service provider, but it told us that there was a huge need. And it also made it very clear that it made sense as an independent product. And so that was 10 years ago. And in fact, we're going to celebrate the 10-year anniversary on October 8, 2024.
Congratulations, by the way. That's awesome. And I guess kind of taking a step back here, who is your customer? Is it a marketer? Is it a end user? Who's the one signing up to say, I want to use Beefree?
It's a really wide spectrum of people, from a small nonprofit that's trying to do a new fundraising campaign. And so that person there probably does everything, right? From the design, the copy, the sending of the email, the analytics, everything, to huge corporations that are doing a piece of the email equation there. So it's really broad. And also a piece of our business is to sell the builder to other software companies.
Interesting.
So there's even broader than the actual user. Sometimes it's a developer that says, instead of developing it myself, I'm going to adopt your application. But with regard to, back to HubSpot, the mid-market company that's the typical HubSpot customer is a perfect user of our tool. And the agencies that work with HubSpot, same thing, because ours is an email design suite that just helps you do things that HubSpot was not built for, right? So that's why it's a great companion to it.
And do you notice that most of these users, are they marketers themselves? Are they designers themselves? Or are they just someone who may be in marketing, not good at design, but they're leveraging it anyway?
Yeah, again, it's a broad spectrum. So if you're a designer, the reason why you would adopt a tool like Beefree is that you can build a design system. You can make that design system really used for your colleagues to use. So when they drag and drop a button, it's exactly the design that you want them to use, the right rounded corner, the right padding, the right colors. You can restrict the number of fonts that you can use, right? So if you're a designer, you can set up a design system that's scalable, and they will allow your colleagues to just go fast, but on brand, right? And then when you go into the actual design of the template or of the email, you can be very granular, basically a Figma for email. Very easy to switch to mobile view, for example, and design directly in mobile view, not a preview. You're actually switching to mobile and you're changing, for example, the size of the font, and it's only going to be that size on mobile. And when you switch back to desktop, it goes back to a larger size, right? That kind of thing that, for example, the HubSpot builder was not built for. It's not the focus of HubSpot to allow you to create a design system. Now, if you're a marketer, now you've got this design system that you can work with that makes you go faster. And some of the things that you're working on are maybe faster collaboration with your colleagues or better organization of all the emails that you're creating. Because quickly in a company, you go to dozens and dozens of emails for all kinds of things, right? Journey emails, newsletters, product updates, billing, you name it. So depending on the persona, it really changes. But we also have, like I said, thousands and thousands of people that use it, and they're just one person shop, right? They do it all.
And do you notice when these individuals are in the tool, why are they searching for you in the first place? Why are they looking for Beefree? And how did they come across you guys, really?
Yeah. So a typical thing, take HubSpot. If you're in HubSpot and you go and create a new design and you look for a template, again, that's not what HubSpot was built for, right? So the template catalog in HubSpot is not their core. So you'll go out and look for a template, and we have probably the largest free template catalog in the world. Where whether right now it's August, right? So maybe you do a search for back to school templates, and you're going to find a ton of back to school templates. Also, early this year, we announced the acquisition of Really Good Emails that is now part of the Beefree family. So that's another reason where you go out and look for inspiration, right? You go to a site like Really Good Emails and you go, okay, show me good back to school emails, not templates, actually real emails that other Target maybe designed or Office Depot or whatever. So that's an entry point, right? You're looking for inspiration.
And I'm very familiar with Really Good Emails. I use that for inspiration over the years. It's an excellent move on your behalf, acquiring them.
Great. Yeah. So that's a great entry point where you're just looking for inspiration. You're looking for a starting point. Another reason for them to discover us is maybe they're really trying to solve a specific issue that they cannot solve within the builder in HubSpot. Like I said earlier, maybe they really want to be able to design emails for mobile with a lot more control on how the email will look on a mobile device. So maybe you want the button to look different on mobile versus desktop or things like that, right? So they're looking for a very specific problem to solve, and they might find us because we solve that problem.
I know a lot of people are intimidated by design. So if, let's say you're a small team and you have one marketer on your team, this marketer has to do everything from getting out the event information, getting emails out, landing pages, collateral, whatever the case may be. Is this a tool that single marketer can come in and say, wow, I can design awesome emails. Hey team, what do you want me to design? So it's not intimidating. Kind of walk me through, is this kind of the premise behind it? Lack of an intimidating tool.
Totally. So it's drag and drop. It's no code. I mean, you could use some code if you want. You can bring code in, but it's born as a no code tool. A marketer that does not know how to code emails doesn't have to know, and also doesn't need to wait for the coder to help them, right? So drag and drop, very easy. Some people say it's sort of a Canva for email, right? Or like that kind of thing. Right. So you remove a lot of the friction, and you just make it faster, simpler, but also on brand. Again, you could have your friend, the designer, that just comes in and sets up a few things so that it puts you in the right direction. Or if you're doing it all, then maybe you start, but you're not a designer, then you start from a template, maybe like a really good template. You start from there and you change some things. And that's also where we see AI potentially playing a big role. And one of the reasons why we acquired Really Good Emails, we really see AI as a way to go from inspiration to creation much faster. right? Imagine that you go to really good emails, you find 4 or 5 emails that you really like. In the future, unfortunately, we're not quite there yet, but we're working on it. You'll be able to say, okay, create a draft for me based on these designs that I like.
Oh, awesome.
Without ripping off their, copyright.
I would have loved that over the years as we've gone into email design. That's cool that you have guys coming out.
Well, then we'll keep you posted on that.
You please do. Well, so how does this integrate with HubSpot? Like what would someone expect?
Yeah. So the idea is, again, when you get to a point where for whatever reason, the HubSpot builder doesn't quite get you to where you want to be. And so you use Beefree to work on the design, to collaborate on it. If you're an agency, you can actually build for your clients. You can bring your client in if you want to review things. You can even go through a full approval process where you check copy and images and everything. You say, okay, this is ready to go. And then you just one couple of clicks and you push either the template or the email into HubSpot. So you can go into HubSpot as a template or as the email, ready for the campaign. So it's a quick export. But then if you say, well, you know what, actually, I want to change some things. And again, you're changing them in Beefree because of that additional design flexibility, etc. Then when you go back to HubSpot, you're not creating a new asset. You're just updating the existing asset. So a good integration. We have hundreds of people that use the two tools together every month. And in fact, if you go to the Beefree marketplace listing in the HubSpot marketplace, you'll find a bunch of good reviews. Because overall, it just gets the job done.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's kind of interesting. I think a lot of people, when you think of like designing and creating these templates, they can take quite a bit of time. So is this a big time savings is kind of also what I'm hearing, that just simply reduces the amount of time it takes to get the exact email template you're looking for. Are you noticing that's one of the main reasons why people say, hey, I want Beefree at this point? Simply time savings.
Yes. And for example, there's a customer success story that our marketing team worked on. It's available on our website, a company called Folder Lead. That's a HubSpot user. I think in their case was 70 or 80% productivity increase,
Wow.
Cutting down on time. And we hear that over and over, that people go from maybe a week to a day, right? 2 weeks to 2 days, like that kind of thing. And it's a combination of not having to wait for others to give you the thing that you're waiting for, right? The changes that you need, but also better collaboration. If you want an approval process that works faster, all of that stuff. And we're like a lot of other people in the space, we are also introducing a bunch of artificial intelligence to help you do things faster, like, hey, make this paragraph shorter or make it funnier, right? That kind of thing. But also more clever aspects of email, like create the alt text automatically by reading the image. So right now in Beefree, you press one button and it will go through and understand what all the images are and write the alt text for you automatically, which not only is a time saver, but also makes the email more accessible, right? Sometimes when we forget the alt text, we forget that we're actually making the email inaccessible for somebody that can't see the image.
Understood.
So a combination of all of that, and in the end, you just go faster and you create hopefully a better asset.
So where has your traction come from over the years? Like, where are these people in the sense of how have you gotten to where you are? Obviously, really good emails is a great way to start acquiring customers, but are they generally finding you through like the ecosystem? Or are they finding you through word of mouth? Where are these customers coming from?
A lot of them just search, as I was saying earlier, right? When you're in that initial phase of creating a new campaign, you're looking for ideas or templates. So there's a lot of traffic.
Inspiration.
Yes. And from the get-go, we used very much a product-led growth strategy. So you can find a template, start editing it, and download the HTML and use it maybe in MailChimp without ever contacting us. We don't even ask you for your email. So zero friction. And that has created an enormous amount of good word of mouth, backlinks. So we do between 15 and 20,000 signups a month of Beefree. So it's big numbers. And a lot of these people just need to get something done and they say goodbye. We're not forcing them into a subscription, or even again, in some cases, they don't even share their email with us, but they definitely have a good experience and they come back. And so over time, you have that enormous amount of people that have signed up, of which a percentage become paying customers. And in some cases, they're really large accounts that are actually solving a big email problem. And in that case, it might be wait a second, what emails do we even have, right? When you're a larger company, you have hundreds and hundreds of emails for all kinds of purposes. And so those are people that are happy to pay thousands of dollars a month to solve the problem.
Absolutely. And then how do you suppose you differentiate? There's obviously other companies in the space who do similar things. How do you differentiate from your competitors in the space?
Yeah. So the Builder, we've been working on our design tool for over 10 years. So it's a really solid tool that is the result of an enormous amount of customer feedback. So at the core, there is a really good product. And so it starts there. And then a number of things that we try to do better, like collaboration. We've put in a ton of effort into making the collaboration aspect work well. The design system portion of it. Like if you're a designer, you can go in and granularly define these elements of the design system at a level that is unmatched. And so, and those things matter, especially to a designer. And so you can then create something where a larger company can go much faster, but with the feeling that they're going to stay on brand.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think those are really good points because especially larger companies, they need to be able to collaborate with a lot of people. To your point earlier, there's a lot of emails being sent out. You need to be able to make changes fast and easily. And to your point, this is an easy tool to be able to use. It's an excellent product, what you guys have built over the years. And I do believe ease of use is what drives a lot of individuals to say, I want to continue using Beefree at this point. And you've alluded to it earlier about AI. I've been waiting to get to this part of the conversation. You've been talking about some of the things coming out. I really love the idea of the really good emails, like get inspiration from here and transplant it over here. But talk to me more about the future roadmap of the product, maybe elaborate a little bit more on that AI functionality, which I am excited for, let alone some of the other pieces.
Yes. So inspiration to creation, that's a big area of focus for us. And we're looking at many ways to get
that,
there.
By the way, is a tagline, inspiration to creation. I hope you have the marketing team down with that.
So it's a cool objective. It's also a really useful thing if we can get it right. So we're going to spend time on that. The other thing is to help designers even more. And so that means if you're a designer and you're working in Figma, then how do you go from Figma to a tool like Beefree where, again, Figma was not designed for email, right? So typically you don't finish the email in Figma, but you might do a bunch of mockups for clients, for example, if you're an agency, right? Because you can go really fast and that's the tool that you use. So that's one of the things that we're looking at, for example, going from a tool like Figma into Beefree. Stronger integrations with the place where you actually run the campaign. So we continue to invest in the HubSpot integration. One of the things that we're looking at right now, for example, is what if we dynamically bring in all your custom fields, right? Your properties, so that when you put merge tags into your email, you don't have to go and look it up. They're right there. So again, make it even faster to do that kind of stuff. So that's another area, especially when we find an application for which we're a really good companion, like HubSpot plus Beefree, then let's make that integration even better. So we're looking at ways to do that. And lots
really kind of speeding up how fast either designers can get their design turned into an email, or the ability to versus having to go back and forth between HubSpot and Beefree, to your point earlier, enabling all those fields to be able to come in from merge tags. So you can see it right then and there, how that will look for them. As you've been building this organization, what advice do you have for other entrepreneurs building in the HubSpot ecosystem, or for that matter, just entrepreneurs in general, some learning lessons you've taken away over the years that you say you wish you would have told yourself 10 years ago?
As basic as it sounds, it always goes back to, are we really listening? Because you get busy. So are we listening to what we believe are really good customers, good in terms of not the money that they're giving us, like, are we a good solution for them? Are we really useful to them? And normally they tell you, right? And then when you dig deeper and to understand, okay, what's the area where we're not useful enough? I understand that you're giving me some good feedback, but let's dig deeper into the things that could work better. Where could you shave off additional time. So for example, integrating with HubSpot so that we can bring in dynamically contact properties. That's feedback that came from HubSpot users, right? That said, okay, if you can do that, that's going to shave off some additional time that otherwise I have to go and look up that custom field. So I think investing in customer research and going back to constantly asking yourself that question of like, okay, but why are they really using my tool? And what else is it that I could be helpful with? It's as basic as it sounds, and yet we all get busy and we don't dedicate enough time to that, right? And so in many cases, these, by the way, have to be conversations. It can't just be a quick survey. Like they have to be customer interviews where you dedicate time to it.
I always think of it like voice of the customer, that you're actually going out, speaking to them, understanding what they're looking for. And one of the things from a question standpoint, like how many people are using, do you suppose, Beefree to migrate assets from one system to the next? So let's say, for example, they're in MailChimp now. They want to go into HubSpot Marketing Hub. So they have all these emails designed in MailChimp. Are they leveraging your tool for those type of migrations? Are they saying, okay, pull it in, see what it looks like here, update it, and then move it into HubSpot? Are you seeing those as like common use cases for individuals or companies?
Totally. One of the things that we say is we are the central design place for email, right? And email, the funny thing is with email, we take a lot of things for granted. But if you think of any company, like the amount of emails that they send that are non-marketing emails, like billion transactional, the people in culture team, whenever you're recruiting somebody, you're onboarding somebody to the company. There's so many reasons, and especially as you become a little bit bigger, the complexity grows. It's not only migrating from MailChimp to HubSpot or whatever, it's also how many systems do you have today from which you're sending an email? It could be 3, 4, could be 15, right? That you're doing.
Wow. Yeah, you're right.
Kinds of things. And so having that central place where at least first of all, what they are, right? Where are the billing emails? Where is the template that we send an invoice with so that I can change it if I need to, right? In many cases, people don't even know where that template is. Like, I don't know. It's probably in some other, so.
It's somewhere there.
Exactly. So centralizing that, creating clarity around that. And then once you have a central system, then it also makes it a lot easier to go from A to B if you are transitioning, right, between systems. It's also a place where you can do some searches and figure out, okay, what are the emails that I have not updated in a while, right? What are maybe life cycle emails? Oh yeah, there's that welcome series that we send all the time, but yet we haven't looked at it in like 8 months. Heck thing. So the things that we all get into because you're busy with life as a company, and then you forget, like, oh, wait a sec, we're sending like thousands of those and we have not looked at them in ages.
Yeah, it's like, oh, last time we looked at them was like 2015. What?
Right. Exactly.
It's like, are we even seeing the right thing on the email anymore? Is it even on brand? I think we've changed the name of our company.
Back to AI, that's a great point. That's also an area where AI, I think, can be very useful of like, okay, help me audit, right? AI can actually go through and recognize that there's maybe the wrong logo. So kind of an AI assistant that can help you QA where you are. That's another thing that we're potentially looking at.
Brilliant. I am excited for all of your AI stuff coming out. I mean, your product's awesome, just what you have right now. So listeners out there, if you send an email, you should be thinking of Beefree as a potential tool to be able to use. And Massimo, that kind of really wraps it up for our conversation today. I think there's excellent information you've shared. Awesome product for anyone interested in learning more about it. And again, thank you so much for joining us, listeners. Thank you so much for listening to us. And again, UpYourStack is a weekly podcast featuring HubSpot app partners who've either built their apps on HubSpot or have integrated with HubSpot, and is sponsored by the OBO Group, an elite HubSpot solutions partner. Massimo, people want to find out more information about you or the company. How do they do that?
So you can find me and the company on LinkedIn, and I'm pretty active on LinkedIn. So if you message me, I'll definitely reply back. And if you're listening to this before HubSpot Inbound, come see us at the booth. We'll be at Inbound. We love that conference. So a bunch of our team will be there. Would love to talk to you.
Awesome. Well, again, thank you so much for joining us. And if you're interested in leveling up your own HubSpot experience, feel free to reach out to theobogroup.com and we'd be happy to help. And again, thank you so much for joining us here today.
Thank you.